Portland Thorns' newest superstar. I mean, NWSL is kicking off pretty soon. I love the fact that we're having so many NWSL interviews. This one we're super excited for. The one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Deyna Castellanos, everybody.
Deyna la reina.
Let's go.
What's good?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Great. Thank you. We're absolutely honored to have you on the show. This is something, you are a player that, especially, I admittedly do not get, my soccer diet doesn't include a lot of European women's football. I am an NWSL. That's what I watch week in and week out. So when you left Manchester City and came to NWSL, to BFC, I'm like, okay, I've heard all the chatter. I'm like, everybody's really
talking about Deyna.
And I'm like, what do I not know? Why am I missing out? Because I'm not watching.
You and defenders in NWSL quickly found out.
What am I missing out on that the Women's Super League might have? But this is something I'm honored to have you on the show because I think when you got to NWSL and watching you and following you, there is a I don't even know the exact word. There is a confidence, a maturity that you carry yourself with, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch, where there's okay, I know I'm watching an elite athlete, but I feel like I'm also watching an entrepreneur building her empire.
Ooh, I like this.
At the same time. And it's something as Latinos, it's amazing to see.
We root for it, sure.
That is how I am feeling right now, Deyna. So as far as, that introduction, how does that make you feel?
I mean, I'm blushing right now. Like, I'll come here more often than to receive all these compliments.
You deserve it.
You're welcome to. I mean, let's just start with, I think the obviously your move from BFC to the Thorns. I mean, I think.
Welcome back to Manchester weather. Huh?
Great. Now I feel at home. Definitely.
So I mean, I
don't know what you're talking about. It's pretty sunny outside.
I know. Actually,
I don't know if I'm in Portland.
This is amazing. I'm like, I thought is she on a green screen?
Yeah.
Why is
you need sunglasses for 8 hours in Portland all year, and you're spending it with us. So thank you.
So I mean, to
be honest, since I got here, everything, every single day it's been beautiful. Yesterday it was sunny, it was hot, it was where am I?
Yeah,
this is not what people were saying.
As far as you're now second year in NWSL, I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about BFC or just even the fact that there's just it just seems like a lot of change, right? How have you been adjusting to just getting to NWSL and then now at a new team at the Portland Thorns?
Well, to be honest, I'm very, very happy to be back, and that's something that BFC gave me the opportunity to come back to the United States. So it was a great experience, navigating expansions franchise, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that they gave me to be back here. But now I'm even more excited, how you said, it's my second year. I'm more adapted to how the league works, how the teams work. Being in the Portland Thorns, that is a very historical club for this league, is something that for me is amazing.
I mean, we talk a lot on the show about the growth of the women's game. Obviously, an expansion year is always exciting, but now you're going to Portland Thorns, which they've just had, incredible support from the fans for years. And it seems like Portland is soccer's the most important thing in all of Portland. Everyone knows it. Everyone follows it. That's different, especially in the women's game, where it feels like for years, you played in Manchester. For years, it felt like clubs in England were trying to fight for that, and they started getting it over the last 2 years. Portland's always had that. How does that feel? I mean, it must feel different being there.
It's unbelievable. I haven't had the chance to play yet, at the stadium, with the Portland Thorns. But when, I was with Bay and we play here, it was, something so intimidating, for, us, has Bay, it was something that it was such a great atmosphere. And, I cannot wait, to be playing, for the Thorns this time in the stadium, and just, feeling, all the support, having 20,000 people every weekend that we play at home, and knowing that they have my back is something that is just so exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see. And, I think, maybe this for a lot of Thorns fans, maybe this might be their introduction to you. We have a lot of Thorns fans that listen to our show, and you're already crushing it. So just keep it up.
So far, they're excited. They already have tickets, but if they didn't, they're buying more.
I'm interested in your career and your trajectory. I mean, playing in, starting obviously in Venezuela and then going to school in Florida, to then going to Atletico. Like this isn't the sort of story that I think a lot of people are used to, or the career path that we're used to, whether it's men's or women's football. But there must be what do people in Venezuela look? I mean, I've seen some videos of you interacting with like younger players and other athletes and stuff like that, and they must look at you and be like, I want to be the next Deyna Castellanos.
Yeah, I think like in Venezuela, that's like something that is very common. Like especially like I have like a lot of teammates in the national team that I help them like going with my foundation like to go to the United States, and like they always said like it was a dream like of mine like to come to the United States just because like you opened that door for us, and like for me like it's something that is very big, and having that like in the national team is amazing, but also like has fans. Like I see a lot of like little girls, like even little boys that they come and like they see me, they start crying, and they just like, I just want to be like you, like have the career that you have, and like be like that person that also like supports their community. Like it's something amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
no one cries meeting us. I'll tell you that, Deyna.
No.
That's not really a thing.
No, that's not true. After like a few minutes of talking, they start crying. Never at the beginning, though. That's the worst part. I think the women's game is something that we talk a lot about on the show. We're big proponents of it, and I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that soccer isn't the number one sport in Venezuela. Right? Baseball is huge. Talk about the Caribbean influence.
I'm Dominican, Cuban.
Right?
I mean, we're all kind of breaking.
Who's better?
At baseball?
Cuba, obviously. That's not even a question.
Wait,
hold on.
We had Miguel Cabrera that he was like, he's going to be all fame and like the best that everybody has seen.
I mean, I'm wearing a Dominican national team soccer. I mean, you know what I'm...
Look, Cubans don't have a lot. We got baseball and pernil, and we don't get much else, okay? We just have that.
Pelota is all we know.
We also it's swimming, bro.
I mean, I've been to soccer matches, football, in Dominican Republic, and it is something where it feels like
the video blew my mind because the accent rooting for soccer was like
hearing Dominican accent
caribeño was like wow.
But it's almost like similar to the U.S. to some degree, but probably a bigger kind of a challenge. But because baseball is the main sport, the soccer is like the hipster,
the counterculture
thing to do out there.
But my question was like, you talk about youth players. Is football getting to the point now where that's starting to become one of the bigger sports for the younger players? And do you think there's a lot of talent in places like Venezuela that we haven't discovered yet? And your foundation, I guess, is doing a good job of helping them get to places where they can explore that talent more.
Yeah, for sure. Like at the end of the day, it's the most popular sport in the world. So like everybody wants to be, I don't know, Messi, Cristiano, Marta, like, you know, like they all want to do that. And like they know like the opportunity that soccer like gives you. Like at the end of the day, it's like, I think the only country that they might be expensive is here, but everybody else is like a sport that is like, very like accessible for everybody. Like you just need a ball and like 22 players are playing and like kids running around, and it's also like a gathering like for family when you are young. So it's something that is very easy to have access to, and it's becoming like more popular. Like in Venezuela, like everybody is crazy about La Vino Tinto, like men's and women's. Like that's something that the Venezuelan people like they do really good, that they actually support like their athletes, and they support like the good things that they have, and it's something that is amazing.
Venezuela has not made it to the World Cup, right? In their history,
They were very close.
Okay, so we're rooting.
We're always very close.
We're rooting for you.
I know Cuba ain't got a shot, so I'm gonna.
Dominican Republic made it to the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
In
I'll be more vino tinto for the World Cup than I will be Cuba. That's for sure.
I want to talk about the boots that are hanging on the wall behind you. The Nike United Phantom. You are
a little Foot Locker right there.
Part of the campaign. And just scrolling through your Instagram, I mean, seeing some of the photos and stuff. I mean, just seeing the smile on your face when you first held the boot was really awesome to see. I mean, what is your feeling about just being a part of the part of this campaign and getting just being sort of the you and a couple other players, but like being kind of the face of a big Nike campaign like this?
Yesterday is funny because yesterday we were training at Nike, and I was with my Nike rep after. We were having lunch, and he was asking me like, did you ever like imagine like your career like being like this? And I was like, well, like I think like I have imagined like before that I was going to be a pro player and everything like that, like, but something that I never like dreamed of was like that, like it was like the boots that are like hanging there, like it's something that like for me wasn't possible, like it was something that like for women's football in general, like I didn't think like that would be possible, and I was telling him that, and like yeah, it's like a dream that you didn't have because you didn't even think it was possible.
You've now made that dream possible for others.
Exactly. So like I think that's what is so special about this campaign. Like it's like young athletes, like young footballers that we are there, like we are like pretty big, like in our own clubs, but like also like what we do in society. And I think like this is gonna bring like the game up, like for women's sport, like for sure. Because now like we have something for little girls like to see and be like, maybe one day that could be me, and that's pretty amazing.
Incredible.
I don't think people know that. It's only recent that some of these boot manufacturers have started making boots specifically for the women's game.
Exactly.
Isn't that
these
crazy?
ones, like, especially like these ones, the Phantom Luna, they have like something in the bottom that is like special, like for preventing
Achilles.
Injuries.
Because there's
stuff.
more ACL injuries in the women's game. They were studying, and it turns out it's partly not just because, but the boots weren't made specific for the way women's feet are in the back. It
is pretty.
It blows my mind that they don't do that. There's like so much science in these things. The first time, obviously, look, I didn't play so gordito, right? That's not for me. You know what I mean? I like watching it. I do this.
We don't judge. We don't judge.
No judge, right? I'm sure my lunch would have been a little bit bigger than the one you had. But when you think about it, so much technology is put in these boots. We're seeing all these commercials when the new boots are released. I never really have ever picked a boot, and then we got shipped boots when we first started. I was like, there's nothing in this box. I thought it was empty because I wear sneakers that are heavy. The amount of technology goes in the boot. They never once thought like, hey, maybe we should test a woman's foot is insane to me. So I think not just are you opening the doors and showing, we talk about representation and how important it is. When I saw a Cubano on television, I thought like, oh, that I can do that then. Like I saw that representation. I know I can do it. I can be on TV. I could be in entertainment. For a little girl starting out now who's maybe being told like, hey, if you're really good, if you keep trying, if you work hard, maybe you could be a pro. They can now start to have that dream of like, I'm going to have my own shoe. It's not just Michael Jordan. It's not just Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not just Messi. It's also, whatever her name is, can have that as well.
Yeah, that's something that is like so like unbelievable, and it's just beautiful, to be honest. Like I never thought like I could like have my own boot, and like my teammates like here in Portland, like they also like love that. Like they are like very supportive, and like they are like, that's something that is so crazy and so amazing.
Yeah, and cool. I mean they also we're probably showing them on the screen right now, but they also look fantastic. I'm sure there's a certain confidence of just like. Not only are they your boots, but they also just like look dope. That's also probably a nice thing as well. I'm curious about your career path, going from Venezuela, going to Florida, and then Atletico. and then Manchester, Bay FC, and then Portland. What has the food selection journey been like for you? So obviously leaving your home country, going to Florida, you probably have a lot of access to a lot of,
It's very Spanish,
Caribbean food,
very
Spanish
Latino.
food. You're probably fine.
I mean, I was in Tallahassee, so like,
Ooh,
access
okay.
now-
Oh no!
yeah,
We thought
exactly.
Florida, not Florida. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Wow.
Exactly.
you were in the northern part of Florida, but it's the American South for some
Yeah,
reason,
when
right?
you go to Tallahassee
Exactly.
and you look at a food menu, you're like, is there another menu where not everything is fried? Is it maybe I got the wrong menu?
So then,
Exactly.
go for it.
It had like an amazing Cuban restaurant there.
Okay.
So that was my go-to.
That makes
Really,
sense.
in Tallahassee, they made it that north.
Yes.
Okay, bueno.
Wait, you're here, Alexis.
I know. Well, I mean, we skipped over the southern parts.
But then, so then going to Madrid, also I would imagine decent food option. But then going to Manchester, what happened there? How many Cuban spots were there in Manchester?
Well, to be honest, obviously, like when I left Madrid, I was like very like concerned about food. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna eat fish and fish all the
Right.
times, and like, like this. But I was very, very surprised because it's very like international in England in general. And Manchester is like, they call it the mini London, so it's like a very big, like, it's a small city, but it's like a very big like a state in the UK.
Sure.
So it was like, okay, I was a little bit worried, but then like I have all the variety that I wanted, like has food, like especially a lot of Indian food, which I like Indian food, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna eat like British food and that's
Got
it. Like no, like it was good.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
and I think Pep owns a Spanish restaurant, if I'm not mistaken.
Does
I think,
he?
Yeah, Pep owns a.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
A Catalan style restaurant. So
All right.
maybe
Yeah.
we'll just go there and hang out with Pep if we're ever stuck in Manchester.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Incredible. So the NWSL season is coming up soon. When it comes to, I mean, we talked about playing for the Portland Thorns. I mean, we were at the NWSL championship in Audi Field.
2019, if I'm not mistaken.
No, with the Thorns, when the Thorns
Yeah.
won
Yeah.
against, was that before COVID?
It was before COVID.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. I mean, it's just, the world makes no sense anymore. But the one thing, we've been to Portland several times, for Timbers matches as well. There is the stadium itself is again, the city is so focused on the sport. They know the game. There isn't this
It feels very European.
yeah, it feels like an English ground, like an old English ground. But when it comes to all the getting to know your teammates, training, things like that, what are things that you are excited about? Like maybe on the pitch, maybe having a teammate like Sophia Wilson now, that's formerly Sophia Smith. What are you looking forward to on the pitch for the Portland Thorns?
This group is very, very young group, but at the same time it's so experienced. How you said, like Sophie Wilson, like me, like we are like players that are like 24, 25 years old, and like we have like lived so much in the sport that is like just crazy. So I'm very excited to see like how that youth like goes and like plays together, and like how like we can have fun and be ourselves, like having the responsibility of giving a result, but like also like without being ourselves. And that's something that this group is focusing in right now. And like we have talked and we have said like, okay, like we are very young, but like let's take advantage of that. So I'm just excited like to finally like wear the Portland Thorns kit and like just like start like playing like with the team. Like
very nice kit this year as well.
It's a beautiful kit.
Gorgeous. Gonna goes well with Nike United Phantom boots, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I know.
They just blend together. I just want to know before, and I know you have to run, and I want to give you that, but before you run, I want to know, we never get to ask this of a lot of players, but you seem like you have so much talent. If you weren't playing closer to the box, right, whether it's forward or midfielder, or attacking midfielder, what other position do you think you would play best? If you wouldn't end up as someone, right in front of goal, where do you think you would end up?
my ideal position for me in my head is as a tank,
Yeah.
as an attacking midfielder. Like, I think like that's like where like I could like have more of potential, I would say. I also like playing as a false nine, so like having that freedom of like dropping and like not just staying like with the center backs there, like trying to stretch the game, but it was also like creating something. I think that those are like my two best ones, but like we'll see like what happens. Like we have like such a like talented like midfielder group like here right now that is like very competitive, and I think like the coaching and stuff like they have a really good program to have, making the decisions every week and like who is gonna play. So yeah, like I would love to play as a 10 or as a false nine.
Do you think what if they threw you in goal one day? How do you think you'd do as a goalkeeper?
Ooh, I'm a little bit crazy, eh? So I think like I already have that part that half of the job is there.
That really is the first thing you need to be a goalkeeper. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'll die for sure.
I love that.
Amazing. During goalkeeper interviews, they say, "Are you crazy?" If they say no, like, okay, I don't think you're ready for this job.
And that makes you a center
exactly.
back.
That's
My last question.
Yeah, that goes in the resume.
My last question, especially since you're one of the few players that we've had on the show that have played in multiple leagues in multiple countries. What's the best league? What's the toughest league? What's the toughest?
The toughest I would say is this one's for sure. Like the English league is very competitive as well, but it has a gap. Right. So it's like the half of the table is really good, but then like the other half is not as good. Like you never know, you could always lose a football game, but like here, knowing that the first team is gonna play against the last one, you actually never know what's gonna happen.
Sure.
So yeah, that's
and
crazy.
and Liga Femenil in La Liga Femenil is it significantly weaker?
Same
I mean,
gap?
the gap seems to be pretty high there as well.
Yeah, like it's like if England has a gap, like a small gap, like Spain has a way bigger gap.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Definitely, like, yeah.
Yeah, Hidalgo, I think, said, NWSL is like playing in Champions League every week.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So we heard it here first. Deyna Castellanos. WSL is the weakest league that exists in women's football.
Put it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt. We got it there. We need you got to sell these interviews sometimes, Deyna. I'm sorry.
We're gonna use AI to show you saying that. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
No, you're a great sport. Thank you so much for joining us, and again, best of luck this season with the Thorns. I'm excited to see you.
You and Sophia Wilson, man. I have a feeling it's gonna be insane to watch.
It's gonna be great. All right. Thank you so much, Deyna.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.